The fine crystal glasses shimmered beneath the golden lights of the posh skylight room, nestled in the heart of Manhattan's elite dining scene. Every table boasted rare wine, hand-cut roses, and diners dressed in custom couture. Waiters moved like whispers through the space, silent, seamless. Among them moved Ava Lynn, her posture upright, her face calm, her eyes betraying the exhaustion that came from caring for an ailing parent before clocking in for a 12-hour shift. Ava's name tag was small, barely visible, which was exactly how the management liked it. Invisible service. Silent elegance. Her black uniform was tailored to perfection, yet couldn't hide the scuff on her shoes or the way her hands trembled when she thought about the hospital bills piling up at home. A text buzzed in her pocket, vibrating 3 times the hospital again. She couldn't check it yet. She was just approaching table 1, the most coveted table in the house. The maitre d' straightened his lapels as he escorted a trio toward it. The man in front was tall, sharp-suited, with a presence that cut through the noise like a blade. His name was Jonathan Everett, CEO of Everett Global Solutions and rumored heir to a secretive family fortune. Ava paused as she recognized the name. Everett. It was a name her mother had whispered only once, long ago, when dementia hadn't yet stolen her clarity. Coincidence? Ava had always told herself. Names like Everett were common enough. Jonathan's fiancée, Bianca Hargrove, was on his arm, a socialite known for her frostbitten charm and her family's old money investments in Jonathan's firm. Behind them trailed Nathan Bell, Everett's executive counsel, stoic, leather portfolio in hand. Good evening. Ava greeted them with quiet professionalism. Welcome to the Skylight Room. May I start you with something to drink? Jonathan didn't look up from Bianca, but murmured the 96 Dom. And the lady prefers still water. Ava nodded and moved away, her footsteps soundless. As she passed the wine station, she whispered to her colleague, Vintage Dom for table 1. As she returned with the drinks, she overheard Nathan's low voice. The Wuhan deal's falling apart. Their CTO is in intensive care. Jonathan raised a hand as Ava approached, and the table fell silent. She served without a word, not spilling a drop. Her phone buzzed again. Emergency alert. She excused herself and slipped into the kitchen, breath quickening. Miss Lynn, it was Dr. Karimi from the hospital. Your mother's responding poorly to the treatment. Will I could try a new protocol. Experimental, but potentially effective. How much? Ava's voice was hollow. 30% more than current costs. I'll figure out, she whispered, her stomach twisting. Go ahead. I'll sign after work. When she returned to the dining room, Jonathan's eyes were on his Rolex. She apologized, took their order's complicated dishes with fussy modifications, and tried not to flinch when her phone buzzed again. This time, it was from an overseas number Chinese country code. She hesitated. The name Emily appeared, her old Mandarin tutor from Beijing. She turned away slightly and answered in perfect Mandarin, Sorry, I can't talk right now. The voice on the other end responded in rapid, panicked Mandarin. You're the wrong Ava Lynn, aren't you? I'm trying to reach the woman handling the semiconductor contract renegotiations. I think you have the wrong number, Ava replied calmly. I'm just a waitress. I have nothing to do with tech licensing. The voice didn't believe her, kept insisting. Finally, she said firmly, I'm not who you think I am. I work at a restaurant. Goodbye. She turned back to the table only to find all 3 diners staring at her, stunned. You speak Mandarin? Jonathan asked slowly. Yes, she answered, cheeks flushed. I studied linguistics at Columbia. Specialized in Chinese dialects before I had to leave school. Bianca looked unimpressed. Jonathan, however, leaned back in his chair, eyes narrowed with interest. Be in my office tomorrow morning, he said, handing her card. We might have a use for someone like you. I have a morning job. Cancel it. This will be worth your while. She clutched the card after they left, her heart thudding. Everett Global Solutions. A door had opened, or maybe a trap. The next morning, Ava stepped into Everett Tower, nerves buzzing. She was met by Nathan Bell, who guided her to the top floor without a word. Jonathan greeted her without ceremony. We lost our interpreter for a critical deal with our Chinese partners. I need you. I'm not certified, she said. You're fluent. That's all that matters. 2 weeks, 10 grand. 5 now, 5 on delivery. She hesitated. My mother, she said finally. I need mornings free to visit her. Done, he said. She nodded. Then I'm in. What followed were the most intense days of her life. Technical vocabulary, business etiquette, contract language. She studied 14 hours a day while working hospital shifts at dawn. Bianca wasn't pleased. She dug into Ava's background and discovered her mother's name, Margaret Lynn. Records showed she once worked in the accounting department at Everett Global, then abruptly resigned in 2002 amid a mysterious internal audit. Bianca's med-skindad. Jonathan dismissed her concerns. But Ava began to wonder too. She visited the old archive room during a lunch break. And there, in a dusty folder, she found her mother's name linked to a former CFO and a series of offshore wire transfers. One name stood out, Kenneth Everett, Jonathan's father. The man who died of a sudden heart attack the same month Margaret Lynn vanished from the company. Ava copied the files and returned them before anyone noticed. But the truth shook her. Her mother had been part of a financial cover-up, or maybe had taken a fall for it. She confronted Jonathan later that week in Beijing, where they'd flown for the deal. There's something I need to tell you, she began. He stopped her. I already know. She froze. Bianca gave me a file, he said. She thought it would scare me off. It didn't. Why? Because my father was a liar, Jonathan said simply. And maybe your mother tried to stop him. Or maybe she was forced out. I don't know. But I'm not him. That night, over dinner, they discussed strategy. Ava translated flawlessly the next day during contract negotiations, impressing even the most skeptical Chinese executives. But the real shock came when the Chinese CEO joined via video, his face obscured by shadows and sunglasses. Yet something about him felt hauntingly familiar. Later, Ava saw an old photo of him in the lobby. Younger, smiling. Her eyes widened. The man resembled her father, a man she believed died when she was 5. That night, he summoned her privately. I held you when you were born, he said, switching to English. Your mother named you for resilience. I faked my death to protect you both. Her world shifted. He'd been a whistleblower, targeted, disappeared to protect them, watching from afar ever since. And now, he wanted her help to finish what he started, expose the corruption within Everett Global, Blackwood Investments, and Holmes Medical Group, which had been laundering money through experimental treatments like the ones keeping her mother alive. Raymond Holmes, her mother's current doctor, was part of it. He'd been using access to control Ava. She stood at a crossroad. Betray Jonathan? The man who'd trusted her, who might be innocent, or side with the father who abandoned her but claimed it was to save her. In the end, she chose both. She arranged a secret meeting with Jonathan and laid out the evidence. Her father joined them. Together, they created a plan. The next morning, they flew back to New York. Her mother had been transferred against her will to a private facility ordered by Holmes. Derek Everett, Jonathan's estranged brother, helped locate her and break her out. That evening, at a press conference broadcast globally, Jonathan Everett stood beside Ava and her father. He admitted to his company's past crimes. He pledged full cooperation with federal investigators. He promised restitution, transparency, and reform. Bianca fled. Holmes was arrested. The Everett empire crumbled, but from its ruins, something honest began to grow. Months later, Ava stood at her mother's grave. Clean slate. Clear name. By her side stood Jonathan. He reached for her hand, resting it gently on her stomach now, gently curved. New beginnings, he whispered. She nodded. The past had been buried, but the future was just being born.